Hey everybody, Pinstripe here. Welcome to the unused map that is...
SNPRIS. SNPRIS.
Prezzo speciale.
Tu rischi 2 scoop per vincere a cacchetta del re.
Yeah, so welcome everyone to SNPRIS. This is a map that only ever made it as far as the pre-alpha in 1999. Sadly, there was only 2 iterations of this map. The first one here in the very early prototype in 1998, which actually houses a whole bunch of buildings. And finally, through looking through the Hogs of War code, I can see that the building that is currently in the middle of the screen is actually a prison barracks. Now, we know this again from the old code left over from this original build of Hogs of War, which was clunky to say the least, but it did have its massive share of building ideas, and a prison was basically going to be the main theme for this map. So you can see as we progress into the later version that the map's theme has been given. So we have snow and we have extra details. The big building in the middle has been removed, and we now have prison towers, which were also in the code, alongside much higher barbed wire, which is the same kind of wire that we see on fjords, which we have looked at previously through the map development videos. What's interesting to me is the fact that these big fences don't block out the entirety of the dome central area, right? You can see the bridges that lead into the center, so the player would have probably had to start on the outside and make their way in, but it's really interesting to see how the textures change over time and kind of what the devs' thinking was going into each and any map, and indeed just generally defining the textures that are used for walkable terrain, slippery terrain, and then everything else in between. Because you can see here that the ground terrain is actually using the rock texture that will be used later on to indicate an area that is slippery. So seeing those kind of textures used early on in this sense is kind of really strange. And we do have some rough pathways that also lead across, so it would have been cool, I think, and I imagine, looking at the way that the terrain is, they might have wanted to add even more barbed wire going all the way around to stop the player from easily making their way from point A to point B, but like I said, because this is such early days for this map, those sort of parameters hadn't actually been defined yet. You'll also notice that there are gun positions as well, which players would have been able to use. Primarily, I imagine, the AI, unless they were specifically for the player, in which case you could probably have used them in an assault on the prison barracks itself. I mean, I really love these details when you find these in the earlier maps, and you can kind of get a gauge as to what the art style was and what it could have been if applied in the right direction, which, considering how the team went back to the drawing board, we kind of lost a lot of these originally styled Hogs buildings that are just very unique to these early builds. Anyway, that's enough rambling from me. We're now going to cross over to myself live in the future to play through this map in Pinsmod version 3. That's right, I decided to take this map and try and make something of it in the final game, which of course you can play for yourself, because ultimately I can talk about these maps until the cows come home, but I want you guys to experience them in some way, shape or form along the way. But yeah, hope you guys enjoy, and I'll catch you later for the next one. So welcome everybody to Crossroads. This is Pinsmod version 3. Links to everything, by the way, will be in the description, so if you want to play this yourself you can do. But this mod was actually one of the ones before I had access to the tile editor, which is why everything is walkable on this map, and a bunch of others within version 3. That was kind of the big downfall, I guess, of this mod. Like, a lot of people enjoyed it, and it was perhaps the mod that had the most changes with, you know, changing all the rank names and everything else. Hence why, if you look at my teammates, they have completely different name. I mean, Royal Engineer, we still got Snipers, we've got Lieutenant, but this is Le Renard. I had to put him in, right? He had to be there. But you can see I'm still utilizing the biggest portions of this map where that warehouse slash POW camp was. I've replaced it with the buildings on Mission 9, and that was primarily the reason as to why this map took up this slot, because I felt that the buildings on Mission 9 can be utilized fairly well, and already I have destroyed a wall. So the enemies are all engineer classes, but they will be either Royal Engineers or Saboteurs, or Sergeants as I name them for some strange reason. I don't know. This mod, like I said, I was changing everything purely for the fact that I could, right? Because we haven't seen these kind of things before. But shrapnel's coming in. Smallhausen with the shrapnel. And I get the lucky bounce as my sniper lives. Now, this is where the AI can be quite deadly, especially at the saboteur level. It's that single bounce, right? There's like a bounce beforehand. The shrapnel bounces up. And it allows for an easy 50, which the AI can do quite regularly. But what I'm going to do is pinch a bunch of Yowl weapons. I mean, he's kind of the most useless because he's stood on top of the tent, so he's not going to come down. I mean, sometimes they do, but only when they feel like it. You don't want to pressure him, right? Don't pressure him into moving. They do not appreciate that. We're going to try and get a double, or at least nudge these guys closer together as well with the poison. But if I position myself on the other side of the shelter, I can roll this like so. Then we have just enough power, and then the extra explosion. You can see as well the medal and the extra health crate. Oh wow, he's literally inside the shelter as he jumps in. He's had enough of playing today. But they are hidden in the biggest part of the building. You can see here that obviously the replacement of this map, there were certain parts of it that just, they weren't even textured yet. Like this is part of the old texture that just wasn't removed. Same with these as well. These were some old minefield textures. And yeah, so you can see the pot marks of where things just weren't really changed because they knew they weren't going to use it in the long run. But I actually do kind of like this map, I'm not going to lie. There's something about it which I think if it had slippery tiles, it could work quite nicely. And the idea of a POW camp with the towers and everything, like that is so cool. And here comes a super shotgun. I'm on top of the building. Oh, I thought I'd fall through. But you know he's going to go for a TNT now. This is the problem with having no slippery tiles. The AI just make a beeline every single time. I mean, sometimes it'll be a shrapnel. Sometimes engineers will be a little bit more clever than just the immediate TNT. But from the looks of it, what will he go for? Is he going to go for TNT? He is going to go for TNT. There we go. So, I mean, at least he gave it a little bit more thought, right? It wasn't just immediate beeline. It was, I'm going to change my position and then go for the TNT. So he's a bit more to the center. My dude will use some healing from the surgeon afterwards. Alright, there's the skippity skipperoo. Can I get into the building here? I don't think so. I think I have locked this up nice and tight, which is kind of good actually. My building ability to lock the player out of getting the easy skip, that's fine. I'm going to try and blow up one of those. Because I am treating this as though it's an actual mission, so I'm going to try and get the medal. That was good. I mean, that guy's going to die in there, so that's another skip turn. Okay, and I've still got mines as well, so we're going to actually gain another skip over here. This guy's on 42. He's on the magic number. No! I thought I had one more poison, but I forgot I'm a lonely sniper. That is so sad. Alright, we'll go with the snipe. Bring him down to 15. Bring him down to 22. And I think if it had a little bit more detail, like around the edges, if there was kind of more slippery areas, I think it would be quite fun. But there is a huge percentage of walkable space. Ow. Alright, well I'm actually going to heal and then probably damage the wall. I do have a rifle burst, so I might use one of those. Oh, actually, I might just... Yeah, I'll just get rid of him. Because then we should get a skip, right? And then somebody else can destroy the wall and we can collect the crates and everyone can be happy. I forgot about this dude. That's okay. Alright, so we get 2 skip turns, both of them in the shelter. Like, okie dokie. So, we're going to place a mine down. Because placing 2, it should detonate regardless. Yeah, okay. But I did see it hid the second one. So we've got to be careful. Careful with our footing. I need to like squeeze by. Because I know that the tile is right there, so I just need to schmoozy on in here. And we get an anti-P mine as well. Alright, I can work with that actually. If I can finish with a mine and pistol combo, then that will be the perfect end to the video. So seeing as he is on a slope, I'd recommend putting the mine on the slope. Then retreating a little bit. Actually, you need him to stay in line, so you don't want to move to the side of him, otherwise you'll push him away from where the mine's going. So you want to push him forward a little bit, and then let the mine do the rest. But that, everybody, is going to wrap it up for SNPRIS. SNPRIS. But I hope you guys enjoyed this unused map. There is plenty more unused content to come in Hogs. I have got a lot of things to cover, and we will get to it eventually. Apologies for how long it's taking me to make these kind of videos for this series, because again, my main mission to bring you guys all this content and just let the wider community know about it. But let me know your thoughts on everything in the comments below, and I will catch you guys later for the next one.